know how the NFL script writers think of how to do a Super Bowl preview, but that's what I think what we got with the Bills and the Lions, dude. Like this could be potentially a Super Bowl earlier view here. And like you said, the Lions have some injuries on both sides of the ball. You got the Buffalo Bills who are playing excellent offense and then somehow choked on defense. I don't understand. Your quarterback is having an historic year on every possible metric, and it's insane. And they're playing in Detroit, so there's no snow factor. There's the dome. The popcorn guy's gonna end up playing left tackle or a tight end, and he's gonna catch a touchdown. But is this what I'm thinking it is? Is this a potential early Super Bowl view in who has the edge right now in the season? Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Beardzone Sports Talk. I'm Scooter. I'll be your host tonight. I got Carlos with me, and we're going to cover some NFL topics. Some of the best things have happened so far in this season. We're in 15 weeks, and we got a game coming up tomorrow. But first, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the alert, hit the follow, leave some comments. Let us know what you think. Send us some friends, coworkers, enemies, whoever you want. But, we talk some college football. Check us out on Thursdays. NFLs are on, our pick'ems are on Thursdays as well. And then we cover everything else on Friday. Sometimes there's some short videos. Sometimes we're lazy and we don't send it out. Carlos, how you feeling, man?
Not too bad, man. Enjoying this Florida. We got our cold weather spelling, so it's like 45 degrees.
It is like 1 degree here in Iowa. And I think the real feel is probably -10 right now. Yeah, I think my truck is currently frozen outside, and that's what we're going to have for the next 3 months. So, yeah, nice. I'm a little jealous of the Florida weather, but at the same time, I get 4 seasons. So, whatever. Speaking of 4 seasons, there's like a revolution coming around in the NFL. And every season, there's always the topic of the coaching carousel, the coaching hot seat. And after watching at least 14 weeks so far, complete 14 weeks of the regular season, and from last season for a couple of these coaches, we're not mentioning the rookie coaches this year or this episode solely because it's their first year, and you can't really judge from that, right? You got to at least have 2 or 3 seasons to kind of go, okay, this guy's not the person. Nick Sirianni was on this hot seat earlier in the season, and then somehow the Eagles decided to just start winning everything, which is really annoying. But same thing with Sean McDermott. Like, is he the guy for the Bills? I think so, based on what we're seeing. But to hit it off, America's not-so team. And I honestly think with a lot of these coaches, it's the organization. So look at the Panthers, for instance. Trash management and just revolving door of coaches and admin and quarterbacks and contracts. But not so much with the Cowboys. We got Mike McCarthy, who's been there for a couple years. Yes, he's got the Super Bowl with the Packers, blah, 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 blah. But you also have Jerry Jones and the toxicity that he's got in that organization, that basically he runs the show and everyone else is his puppet. Dude's as old as Father Time. He's probably best friends with Santa Claus at this point. But Mike McCarthy this year, he's got an offense and somewhat of a defense, but they suck. Like, they overall suck. You got guys like Micah Parsons just walking off the field and CeeDee Lamb basically giving up on plays or just not going in. And, like, you purposely brought back Zeke Elliott and you didn't sign an actual running back? And you got Dak Prescott over-freaking-paid. I'm just going to say that now. He is overpaid. He's your stat guy, but he's not going to get you the key wins. But, like, is McCarthy the problem here? I know he's on the hot seat, but I feel like it's a managerial issue.
Yeah, I think it's a Jerry Jones issue. He had a good formula when he brought in Jimmy Johnson. They win. Um, Jimmy convinced
Then
him
you
to
want
make
to
the huge.
control.
Yeah, he convinced him to make the huge trade and get rid of Herschel Walker, which led to Troy Aikman, Emmett Smith, and a couple other guys. And then he wins, and then Jerry's like, "Hey, it's me. I don't need you. I can do this because Jimmy, you won me." And then he wins that Super Bowl with Barry Switzer, but it was really a team that Jimmy bought or put together and made who it was. I probably could have coached that Cowboys team. And then ever since then, Jerry just he doesn't know, I don't think, how to evaluate talent. I think his ego is too big, and he's ruining an organization that's should be very competitive every year. He screws up this season. Why he doesn't sign Derrick Henry, I don't know. Derrick Henry doesn't fit our model. What, run for yards? Run for too
Run
many
for
yards?
2,000 yards.
Yeah, we don't want that guy. And it's not like they throw to the running backs. And Derrick Henry can catch the ball. It's not
Yeah.
like, I mean, he's not going to be like the great, but if he rolls out to the swing, he'll catch the ball. He'll be fine. And I think they just mismanaged. The Dak Prescott signing, the CD signing was all mismanaged. And I don't think he leaves. I think they give McCarthy one more time. And then hopefully Jerry Jones is done. It was no different than it was the Raiders' old owner. Was it not Al Michaels? That's the
Al
announcer.
Davis.
Al Davis. He was another one. It was time to go, but then his son is running the organization like worse than he was. The only thing he did smart was move it to Vegas and got paid. He'll get paid from that alone. But I think it's time where you see like the Washington team is moved on from Dan Snyder. They're doing well. They're getting more modern. They're getting some guys in there that understand football. Jerry Jones knows old football. He's not. I think his time is just past this game, and he just needs to. It's time to let it go. Sell it out. Have a little stake. Sit in the press box or the owner's box. Watch some games and enjoy the last remaining years you got.
So you would keep Mike McCarthy?
I would. I don't know if there's anybody else out there. I don't. I think Ben Johnson. I really think he ends up in Chicago. That's kind of where he wanted to go. So they're going to get a new coach, Doug Peterson in Jacksonville. I don't know how he stays. It's not like that team had a ton of injuries in the beginning. They've been bad since the beginning of the season, and that was a team that was supposed to compete for the division, and they've just been bad. So you got a vacancy there. I just don't know, and I think Kingsbury gets another shot at a head coaching job. He's done really well in Washington, so somebody will take a chance on him. You got Dayball at the Giants. Like, they gonna give him another shot? And really, they should fire the GM. How he let Shaquan go, I don't know. That was terrible. And then you have those couple guys like we talked about, like Antonio Pierce. Does he get another shot at it? Zach Taylor with the Bengals. I think if they make the playoffs, they keep him around, but it's going to be interesting. But I just don't know. And I think it's a guy Jerry is controlling, and But if you're Mike McCarthy, do you want to stay? I get it. You want to get paid. You're already going to get paid. Those contracts are guaranteed for the most part. So do you want to go through this again with Jerry, like with a bad draft? Him interfering, like, do you want this for yourself when there will be other jobs available? And with the Packers, he was able to do what he needed to do. Like, Packers are definitely one of the more smartest organizations in football.
Yeah. I don't know. I think for the Cowboys, I think they need to understand their management. Like, I don't think Mike McCarthy is necessarily the issue. Something says that he's not. I don't know what. Like, you've had 12-win seasons, like, repeatedly. You've won at home. Now you can't win at home.
Yeah.
I just, like you said, I think it's a higher managerial issue. Maybe not necessarily Jerry Jones, because technically he's just like the owner. He doesn't have a lot to do with it, but I think his son-in-law and a couple other dudes historically with the program or the organization that just they're not managing it well from a like look at the College World's recruitment, right? You're not drafting well. You're not looking at the contracts and the output, right? You sign Zach Martin and he's injured. You got CeeDee Lamb, but no Dak, and Dak's hurt again out for the season. So, and you just paid him like record money too. No running back. You got Micah Parsons. You got, Trayvon Diggs, but Diggs is arguably part of the problem too. So, like, you got talent and players. Like Cooper Rush won you 4 games like a year or two ago, and now I don't think they're really having huge on-field issues. I think it's more in the upper house. And you mentioned Doug Peterson. Yeah, you made the playoffs and you ran basically a 1-year wonder in Philly, and then you tanked. And you kind of made it to the playoffs and had like a weird revival with the Jags, and now you're tanking again. So is this another, ride the wave and then kind of like, oh, well, it didn't really work out? And some of his press conference stuff is like, tomatoes are red. Like, it's not, a lot of it doesn't add up. And quite honestly, the Jags just need to move to London, call it a day, because their owner clearly doesn't care. Duval doesn't want them. Like, you had talent with the Jags too. Like, it's not like they haven't drafted well. Like, Trevor Lawrence was your entire offense with ETN as well, is a good compliment. You had DJ Shark. Like,
they drafted very well. They got Brian Thomas Jr. Even bring in Evan Ingram.
You had Jalen Ramsey too.
Yeah,
you let him go.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a lot happier now. But I think Doug Peterson and what he's doing, it's like a combination. Like, we just went with a coach that probably has mismanagement above him to a coach that is part of the problem itself. Like, it's the organization and the coach. And yeah, you won a Super Bowl, but like, that team was pretty stacked if you looked at it. And Nick Foles played out of his shoes and then decided to take a hiatus for the next 7 years. So, and he's no longer in the league too. Like, Nick Foles literally had 1 year, made bank on the next contract, and then was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm just going to sit the bench now in my giant neck. So, again, with the AFC, and we're not AFC biased. We're hitting NFC team. Don't worry, we'll come back to them too with some of these coaches. Are the Browns just the biggest joke?
Oh my God!
They went so hard on Stefanski in the beginning. They're like, analytics. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, I'm a stats guy too. Even in my daily job, I'm a stats guy. Sometimes those stats are great, but they do not translate to actual function or operations or whatever. Stefanski, you can have the world's greatest dudes per play or whatever. Something is going to go wrong. It's the human error. And the human error for the Browns was their management in signing $200 guaranteed million to Deshaun Watson, who's played less games than Jameis Winston has in 2 years.
It's a terrible organization.
Oh my God! Like, I don't
left the first time.
I don't understand. Like, Stefanski could have been like, yo, I understand he's meeting all the blocks and everything else. Legal trouble, I got it. A lot of players deal with legal stuff. But come on, man. The guy hasn't played more than like 4 or 5 games in the past 2 seasons, and before that he didn't play at all. Yeah, you're not getting the Deshaun Watson that came into the NFL with the Texans. You're absolutely not. The reads are off. His play action's ass. Like, it's just not there. And Stefanski can't seem. He beat the Steelers somehow and then lost to the Steelers. The defense is fantastic, but again, the way it's being managed, and I think this is kind of the theme that we're seeing with some of these coaches, the management at the between the owner and the head coach is just trash. And the Browns are the perfect example with the Jags. If we could just lump them in together, this green and brown orange thing, Just make them one team, one giant awful team.
Have you ever seen the movie Major League, the baseball movie with
Oh yeah,
Charlie Sheen? And he calls the Lou while he's at the tire shop, and he's like, "Hey Lou, what do you think about coaching the Indians?" He's like, "I don't know." I feel like I would be that if I got the call from the Browns. Hey, what do you think about coaching the Cleveland Browns? I don't know. I'll call you later. I got somebody on the other end wants some tires. like I don't know. Is that a job anybody even wants? Like it's. I mean, you get paid, granted, but you're in crap weather. Sorry, Cleveland. Not a good crap city. Just crap organization. You kind of. I guess I could change the
the
name to
city's actually kind of nice. I've been there at least once. It's not too bad, but no, the organization sucks.
the Cleveland Waste Management Browns is what they should change that team name to. It's god awful. That's another one that, like I said, if you're a coach, like you get it because you're an NFL coach, but you're probably on the other end going, why couldn't it have been somewhere else on there? Another one that's kind of iffy is, and I go back and I start to think about it because you brought it to my attention, was Antonio Pierce. And now that I keep thinking about this, I think he's a guy who should be on the hot seat. I don't know if it's the organization or what it is, but I don't know if I see this guy as that guy. I'm trying to think who the quarterback was last year. They had that little small run, but I don't remember who the quarterback was.
Derek Carr? No,
No.
he went to the.
They had Garoppolo for a little bit. Was it O'Donnell? I think
Yeah, it was
that
O'Donnell.
was there. Yeah, it was O'Donnell,
Yeah.
and they had that little run. But I kind of question whether or not is it him or the organization. It is another organization that's notoriously not good. But he's another one that may. I would like to see Kingsbury there. They go out and get them a quarterback with Shador Sanders, Cam Ward, and you bring in that young guy and his offensive mind, and like, that could be a good situation for him because they brought in defensive players and their defense still sucks. So I'm like,
I would say their secondary needs some help, but their front four, their front seven on defense for the Raiders is fantastic.
yeah,
I know we were talking about it. Antonio Pierce is in his second year, right? And I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's in a tough division, quite honestly. And if you put them in the AFC South, they win. You put them in the AFC North, probably the same scenario as the West. AFC East, by the way your Miami Finns have been playing, I don't know, they might be number 2. They might be a playoff team. But it really depends. I think Pierce is a cultural guy. Like he's bought into the Raider way. He has changed the culture. He's got guys that will group around him, and he's leveraging his assistant coaches too. Like I think Pierce is a good dude for the Raiders, and I don't think I'd get rid of him. I really don't. I like what he's doing there. I would get rid of a guy like Brian Dable, simply because he hit the entire, again, Giants mid management and the whole Hard Knocks thing. We need to get rid of Saquon Barkley. You're an idiot. Look at him. Look at him with an actual O-line and an actual offense and other threats besides himself. It's like watching Ashton Genty, except getting destroyed in the NFL because there's no O-line, there's no wide receivers for half of the team is given up for the New York Giants. Granted, the defense, if you look at the stats, are actually not too bad.
No, their front four is really good.
Like Dable lost a whole ton of weight, and he's healthy and everything else, but you just look at him, and he looks dejected. He looks very depressed. He's like, Daniel Jones just ruined my life, and now I got to deal with this third-string mobster dude to go play quarterback. And, of all, the historical Giants teams, like you went from, Phil Simms and Eli Manning, and then Daniel Jones was supposed to be good, and then he's got talent, I guess. But there's no O-line. There's no running back complement. Tracy Jr., okay, I stand corrected. Tracy Jr. for them is fantastic. Dude came out of Purdue and then was like, hand me the ball. I'm all that in a bag of chips. I'm going to get you 300 yards at least total of offense. but there's no one else. Like Neighbors, God, I feel so bad for Malik Neighbors going to the Giants with like nobody to throw him the ball. He gets like 2 good catches at best, then he gets hammered across the middle. He's gonna end up like Antonio Brown. Hopefully not.
Oof.
Like stats wise, great, but not the mental. But Dable, I think I would loop Brian Dable into the scenario with the whole management. You need a clean sweep that like the Washington Commanders did. You need to commit and just can it.
So a good candidate, I think, for that job is not that far down the road. And if you take Joe Brady from the Bills, their OC, and move him in there, give him a Shador Sanders, who's already been linked to the Giants, and who's used to playing under a little bit of pressure. He doesn't have the best O-liners. He calls them, what did he call them? Trench babies. He calls his linemen the trench babies. That's a new thing. Cam Moore does the same thing. I watched the whole thing where they're talking about their trench babies. So he's used to not having the greatest offensive line, but still making throws. But you bring Joe Brady down with Tracy, Shadora, Neighbors, maybe even throw in a little something extra there on offense somewhere. You never know.
Yeah, it might. The whole offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator transition to head coach is an interesting jump. And the Bucks did that with Todd Bowles, and I still say fire him. I don't care if we make the playoffs. I'm gonna fire him. The dude is losing very easy games with very good talent. Rashad White's not a starter. Start Bucky Irving. I digress. However, let's go back to the great state of Ohio, a little further south, to Cincinnati. And I can't believe the season, the offense that the Bengals have. And I don't know if Zach Taylor is on the hot seat, but not on the hot seat. Because like his offense is looking like Joe Burrow's the savior, flying through the air, throwing for like every imaginable stat. He's having arguably an MVP type season, but he has no defense. Like Hendrickson is the only one playing defense. I think he's still leading the season in sacks, but nobody else. There's no interceptions. There's no like fourth down stops. There's like I think we've watched Joe Burrow throw for multiple 4 to 5 touchdown games, like 30 plus, 35 plus games, games, and their defense just
games straight.
Yeah, they're like 4-8. Is Zach Taylor the problem, or is it a defensive coordinator problem? Because like I was looking at a couple like CBS and Fox and all these other dudes, and they're like, Zach Taylor's garbage, blah blah blah. I'm like, yes and no. Like it's the Antonio Pierce thing for me, but the opposite. Antonio Pierce is very good on defense in that side of the ball with the Raiders. Then you got Zach Taylor, who's very good on the offense, but terrible on the defense side right now.
Yeah, and they're a tough one because to make the playoffs, they got to win out, and they've only got their last 2 games are by far their toughest. They have the Broncos and I think the Steelers that are left. They have the Titans and the Browns, but for them, there's been no easy game. Like they're in a lot of single digit where they lose by 2, 3, even 1 point. So just a couple breaks here and there, and we're talking a 5-8 team to an 8-5 team. Like but Burrow's been playing out of his mind. It was 4 straight games over 350 yards, and Chase Jamar. But it seems like on offense, it's just the Burrow Chase show. T. Higgins is lost. Chase Brown is actually playing pretty well, and I don't even know if they carry a tight end anymore. I guess he had 1 good game, and after that, I haven't even heard about a tight end.
Sample, I think, is the other guy.
Yeah, they're not much, but that defense, other than Hickerson, he's the only one playing defense. And I'm watching the Cowboys game. He only gets the 1 sack, but it was a huge sack at the end of the game. But it's just, I don't know. The defense is just bad, and I don't get it. I don't feel like it should be that bad when you look at somebody like the Lions that have lost like 5 starters, and they're still doing well. So at some point, it has to be scheme and coaching because, I mean, the Lions have literally lost a starter in every level. So they lost two of their front four, a linebacker, and in the defensive end or back part too. So I mean, how are they able to withstand it? But the Bengals, I haven't heard of any injuries that are big. I just don't know if they have any big players other than Hendrickson. Like it's not good, especially for, and man, they're in a hell of a division. So it's a very tough division. At some point, you have to shake it up, and it may be that would be a fantastic job to take. You have a Joe Burrow. They're going to sign Jamar. He's not going anywhere.
No, not after this season. No.
Yeah, I mean they're going to pony up their money, but man, to walk into an organization, you have a top 5 quarterback, and the one that's beaten Patrick Mahomes. Like, damn, that's not a bad gig walking into that room. So we'll see. He's got to make the playoffs. I don't see them making the playoffs. I don't think they can win the last 2 games. The Broncos are the Broncos. Man, holy crap! Bo Nix is killing it. The defense is probably the best defense in football. It's just a heck of a game. And the Steelers are the Steelers. Freaking hell, man. Like, I don't know what they feed them, give them to drink, but they still have losing seasons. It's like, oh, this will be the year. They got Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. They don't even know which one's going to start. Russell Wilson's trash. I don't know where this Russell Wilson came from, but they're not trash, man. It's just like, Jesus Christ. Like,
Mike Tomlin came out and gave him the disappointed dad speech, and they were all like,
did.
"Oh boy."
10-3, like the Steelers being 10-3 with the possibility of being 12-5 this year. Like, I would have thought they were around 500. I think that's kind of where we had them around, but not like this. So I think they missed the playoffs, and I think they're going to have to look at a lot of things, contracts and coaches, and see where they're going wrong.
All right. So before we move on to the hot games, if you had to fire and keep, you had 2 coaches out of the 6, fire and keep, out of McCarthy, Peterson, Stefanski, Dable, Taylor, and Pierce.
So I got to marry one, kill one.
Pretty much. You got to keep one or fire one. I will go first. I would fire Doug Peterson. Hands down. Yeah. Him and like the entire upper staff, just fire everybody if I could, if I was the owner. But I'd keep. Oh man, Antonio Pierce, dude. I like what he's doing. I just like what he's brought to the organization, and that's what you need from your head leader, right? Your head on field general. That's what you need. You need somebody who can keep that culture and that momentum, even when you're losing. Yeah, you can see it in his face. He's pissed.
Yeah.
But he's keeping the organization moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Stefanski because they have his replacement coach in the building with Mike Vrabel. Is already there. He's the consultant. Just make the guy the head coach. You don't have to go any further and go down the hall. Hey, Mike, you want to coach again? Perfect. Start next week.
Well, he might go to Ohio State if they can't. Ryan Day.
Oh my God, Ryan Day should be out of there. You didn't beat Michigan again. Get out. Like unless he wins the Natty, I fire the guy just for a second. Man, oddly, I would probably keep Dabo. Like, I like him. I like Dayball. I don't know what it is about the guy. He sucked me in on watching Hard Knocks, and I don't know what it was, but I'd give him one more shot. He is, and he's got my attention, and I like the guy. Give him one more shot, but the organization has to give him a quarterback.
Something
like you got
2 O-linemen and a quarterback, please.
Something like go back and rewind the tape, and when your GM and the vice president comes in and says, "I don't want to see Shaquan in an Eagles uniform. I'm going to throw up." Don't sign the guy. Don't let him go to the Eagles. Don't try to call his bluff, and then he's having a great year against the Eagles. Like it's like getting kicked in the balls twice.
And they have. Yeah. This year they have.
Literally. So I keep that guy. He's some reason I like him.
Oh man. Oh, we need to mark that for Dave to edit. So, man, the coaching carousel is gonna be wild. I can't wait for it. But week 15 for the NFL came through with some pretty key games. I mean, we're looking at the schedule, man, and I know it's hard to pick just three, but right off the bat on Thursday night, you got the hot LA Rams on a short week rolling into San Francisco that has every key player injured, and they're rolling with practice squad dudes. Debo Samuel's tweeting and then deleting, and then well, you read what you read. Well, no way, dude. We know, yeah, but we know you're upset. You're playing ball, but you can't really be upset with the 49ers, do they have all the talent, they have all the coaching and everything else, but the Rams are coming in hot. Short week. Stafford's putting up some serious stats with the wins. You crazy game against Buffalo. Josh Allen's got to be the most upset dude with his defense, putting up 3 touchdowns, passing and rushing. And
another historic
fantasy
week.
owners are going, they lost. So with the Rams and 49ers, division is real close. You got between, I think, the Rams, 49ers, and the Seahawks, and actually there's Cardinals too. There's only 4 games left. So it's going to be shuffling between all 4 of these guys, and I feel like this game could potentially set the tone for the following 3.
Yeah, I think it's do or die for the Rams. I think they're gonna Trent Williams is out, possibly is out again.
Yeah,
and they bring in the Guardo, the running back, which I appreciate him. I picked him up, and first of all, let me give a shout out to our Canadian Rams guy.
yeah.
Let me tell you something. Those Rams, Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams, drugged me into the playoffs in my fantasy football league man, it's the one every year I want to win.
Dude,
so
Puka's playing angry, and it's amazing.
That guy, I don't know, David, send him something, tell him I appreciate those 2 guys. But now that running back for San Francisco might be out with a sprained foot, and they're down to a Patrick Taylor, some guy that was delivering UPS packages a week ago. I think it's just too many injuries. And if they lose this game, they have the Dolphins, the Lions, and the Cardinals to finish out the year. I just don't see that. I feel like if the 49ers lose this game, they're out, which is crazy because I had them going 13-5 this year. What am I stupid? But, I should have known Christian McCaffrey would be hurt all year. So, but the Rams are playing good, man. They're playing hot. It's a game they can win. They match up very well. Puka's doing well. Kyron, the defense plays well enough to give the offense a chance. Buffalo, that was a really good game. If you had to watch a game last week, that was the game to watch, man. It was, it looked like the Rams were going to pull away, and then I hate Josh Allen so much. So much I hate that guy. But another historic output of him in a week, 2 weeks back to back. I hope he sprained something. But what a great game. But I see the Rams take. I feel good that the Rams, they win this. I think it puts them in the driver's seat for that division. They got the Jets, which is definitely winnable. And then they have 2 big division games, the Cardinals and Seahawks. But those are games they can win. So even if they go 3-4 or split that, they've got a good chance of winning that division.
Yeah, I think this game, ironically, even with the short week, kind of goes in favor of the Rams. And, you mentioned the following games. Yeah, Jets a win for sure. We don't know what we get with Seattle. I've yet to see them show up consistently other than Geno Smith throwing for 400 yards because there's apparently no run game, even with Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. But then you got the Cardinals, and I mean, they're probably going to get a win this week with the Patriots, but does Kyler Murray keep it up with all the Call of Duty, microtransactions and everything? So I don't know. The Cardinals, again, they win games that they shouldn't have won earlier on, and then somehow decided to not play football. I don't know. I think, like you said, the Rams, even with, I think Kyron Williams is doing a fantastic job, but then they throw in Blake Corum, who's like the spitting image of Kyron Williams, and it's just plug and play again.
Yeah.
So,
And Seattle
unless
got
Matt Stafford gets injured,
that guy, man, that's one tough dude. He's one of my top 5 favorite quarterbacks. But Seattle's got a tough road too. They got the Packers, the Vikings. So Packers this week, Vikings next week. Those are 2 games they could easily lose. And then they finished the year with
but the Vikings are rebuilding.
Yeah, that Sam Darnold's not going to work out. What a stupid trade or pickup.
Again, if you look at the beginning episodes of our predictions, totally wrong.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you want to rag on it.
We hit on 1 or 2. We're batting like 10%.
We're definitely not getting a Juan Soto contract. That's what we're not getting.
God.
Oh, man. But you hit your boy Josh Allen, man. So, I don't know how the NFL script writers think of how to do a Super Bowl preview, but that's what I think what we got with the Bills and the Lions, dude. Like, this could be potentially a Super Bowl earlier view here. And like you said, the Lions have some injuries on both sides of the ball. You got the Buffalo Bills, who are playing excellent offense and then somehow choked on defense. I don't understand. Your quarterback is having an historic year on every possible metric, and it's insane. And they're playing in Detroit, so there's no snow factor. There's the dome. The popcorn guy's going to end up playing left tackle or a tight end, and he's going to catch a touchdown. But is this what I'm thinking it is? Is this a potential early Super Bowl view in who has the edge right now in the season?
That's a good question. It is. I think we could definitely see this playing out to be the 2 teams at the end. I don't know who has the advantage here. As long as you have Josh Allen, the Bills have a shot. Detroit's banged up on defense, but I don't know if that matters. And Detroit's offense is fantastic with that 2-headed monster in the back. And it doesn't matter which guy's in. Like, you can't sleep. Oh, we got Montgomery in, so they won't throw the ball. Well, no.
Baloney.
And then Gibbs is in. There's no way they'll run between the guards. No. And then Amon's playing well. Tim Patrick has a great game last week. You still have Jameson Williams too. So it is going to be I would say it's probably going to be another like mid 30-point game. Watch it be like a 10-3. That would take me off. But I don't know. Like, I know we're going to do pick'ems later, but this is one that I literally have on my sheet. It just has a question mark next to it. I don't know.
I almost cried in my office. I almost cried looking at this game. Like, tears of joy because it could be a potential Super Bowl preview, but then also like, which team? Because like, I want to root for both. Like, can it tie?
Yeah.
Can we do that? Are we still allowed to tie?
I am glad it's in Detroit, not because it's their home field, but it takes the snow out and we're going to get to see both teams at their best. I wish it was a night game instead of a day game because I got family in and it gives me time to clean up and watch. But, man, it's going to be a great game. Like, some good games this week, but this has to be at the top spot.
And then we go to the same timeline. Opposite channel, opposite TV channel, and you get another potential. I'm not saying it's like as high as probably the Bills Lions game Super Bowl scenario, but Philly versus Pittsburgh, West Side versus East Side of Pennsylvania, the hard-nosed, steel-working dudes, blue collar versus Philly. And I only say that because, like, as I'm a Bucks fan, and it's just, I don't like Philadelphia. Y'all are dirty. I know it's brotherly love, but it's just dirty. You guys show up to games and just trash talk the entire time like freaking Boston fans, and your team's not even playing. So, like, again, you mentioned with Russell Wilson, this is the Russell Wilson we get this year. Apparently, he's going to push for top 10 quarterback, top 5 potentially, if you're looking at certain metrics. And then you're looking at the Philadelphia Eagles, who Saquon's going for an MVP season. Like, change O-line, change team, and next thing you know, he's better than Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry's having another potential MVP type season. So, like, are we seeing hard-nosed football here? Are we seeing a potential, again, another potential Super Bowl scenario? Or is this just going to be like, okay, Philadelphia's just going to show them who owns Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I think it could. I'm not counting the Pittsburgh out. The only thing I wish is George Pickens isn't playing again this week. He's already been ruled out. That kind of sucks because I'd like to see Pittsburgh with all the weapons going. But that defense is legit. But Philly's defense, especially that front four, that young Georgia Bulldog line, has come together. Jalen Carter is killing it. Jacoby Dean has come alive, and then Cooper DeJean and Quincy, whatever, I forget the other guy's name. They're all playing great. Like the Eagles, the only thing with the Eagles, they run the ball good, but they can't pass the ball, which is weird when you have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
like you think there would be more there. So, but they are playing an elite defense. And Tomlin is a great game planner. Arthur Smith's going to figure out how to, he's a run the ball first guy, but he's smart enough to mix it up against these guys too. So let's see what happens. And Wilson's playing great. And honestly, Jalen Hurts is playing okay. They're really just not, the pass game's not there. And this seems to be a Jalen Hurts thing. Like we get closer to the end of the year and he starts to fall off. It's almost like, I don't know. It's just something with his play. It's like his attention span, his ADD kicks in, and he's just like, I don't know what to do anymore. But you got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. You shouldn't have passing issues.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I think it's a good defensive game.
Yeah. Philly, I don't know what it is about the Pennsylvania area. It's just hard-nosed dudes. Mm-hmm. Like it's like they harden their guys. Maybe it's the whole Midwest versus blue-collar type deal because Pittsburgh's kind of close to the Midwest area. But I can't wait for it. Watching Cooper DeJean's power bomb, Derrick Henry on a swing pass was awesome.
I don't know how they let that guy fall. What are I have to be able to be a GM in the NFL. Like I look at this draft and these guys and I'm like, you're stupid. You pass on this guy. You're an idiot. This guy's a player, and DeJean is a player. He's made some tackles this year. I mean, he ain't afraid to get in there and mix it up. Like in that one against Derrick Henry, like he's not a real big guy, that Derrick Henry guy, but he's only bigger than every offensive lineman out there.
For real, he's a linebacker playing running back, dude. Yeah, who knows? There's some organizations that might fire a GM and a head coach. We could just take them over. It's going to take over the Browns or something. I don't know. Or the Giants. But, yeah, those are the 3 games that we chose this week. Let us know what you think about those 3 games. But it is time for the Beardzone rapid fire game picking scenarios here. And I know Dave does a better intro to that. I just want to say that we still miss Dave having strep throat and, letting us, run wild.
David, who is this guy you're talking about?
Yeah, right. But, all right, Carlos, I got Dave's picks. I know he sent it to us in our little chat. But, first game, Thursday night, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Who do you have?
I got the Rams. I think San Fran's is too beat up.
All right, Dave got the Rams too. I got the San Francisco 49ers. Why not? Give me the chaos right off the bat. Kyle Shanahan playing at home. Brock Purdy's going to throw for 5 touchdowns to Deebo Samuel alone. Let's go. All right, next game. Kansas City at Cleveland.
Chiefs.
I mean, the way the refs and Taylor Swift Black Magic, I don't know how you don't pick the Chiefs anymore. Chiefs, we're unanimously on Chiefs. Again, sticking with the Ohio type teams, we got Cincinnati at Tennessee. Is Tennessee even playing football anymore? I'm not sure.
Well, they're there. I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think this is one of their last of 2 wins this year.
Oof. Zach Taylor's on the hot seat. Yeah, unanimously on Cincinnati Bengals. Now to watch the potential Saints turn into the Aints again. We got Washington in New Orleans, man.
8-5 versus 5-8. I'm going to take the Commanders. I think it's I'm going to go with the Commanders on the road.
Did we just copy each other for this entire week so far? Except for the first game. No, I think unanimously we're all Commanders. I don't think the Saints really have much at home, even with that advantage. Again, another murder game. Pun intended, being Baltimore Ravens at the Meadowlands. Giants or Ravens? Who you got?
I'm taking the Ravens, and I'm praying to God Lamar makes it out of there with no injuries because he's my fantasy football quarterback.
Well, the MetLife Stadium in their field is known for lower extremity injuries for running backs and running quarterbacks. So Lamar might get injured. But yes, unanimously Ravens again, because we already went over the New York Giants dumpster fire. Now, dumpster fire versus dumpster fire. We have Dallas at Carolina. This got to be one of the lowest ticket price games ever, except for the next game I have on this list.
I think you can. I think you buy a ticket for $10 and they give you a $20 food voucher. I'm going with the Cowboys. I think their defense will be pissed off and they'll win this one.
Apparently, Dave and I were thinking the same thing when we picked these guys. We have the Panthers winning at home, only because Mike McCarthy's going to choke and he's going to, grow another chin. All right. Roll it into the other dumpster fire game. And, we went over the very good games this week, but we have plenty of dumpster fire games. The New York low altitude Jets versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The battle of the 3 and 10s and who's going to get the top 5 pick. I'm gonna go with the Jets only because Jacksonville, you need this loss. You gotta get Travis Hunter in the draft. You need this badly.
If you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, please listen to the Beardzone Sports Talk. We want you guys to lose this week unanimously so you can get a better draft pick. Yes. However, rolling into a pretty tough game for your Finns at Houston, man. This could be potential playoff worthy.
I'm rolling with I'm going with the Finns, man. I'm gonna stay with them. I just don't think Houston's. I'm not sold on them this year.
What?
Nah,
give me some CJ Stroud. Dave and I both went with Houston. They're playing at home, man.
Yeah, but they're 8-5. They should be better. They're in a bad conference.
They should, yes. Yeah.
But I don't know. I got to stay with my guys.
But rolling in, this is going to be just call this the Yellowstone game. This is or the Rancher game. This is going to be the Indianapolis Colts versus the Denver Broncos. Yes, both horses. One is running full speed, and the other one is kind of like limping its way through the season.
I'm going Broncos in a hellacious game by Richardson, who may tap out by the end of this again.
If he does, someone needs to put money on Carlos in putting players out of the game. Just because they're going to quit mentally. They're just weak individuals. Yes, Denver Broncos unanimously for the Beardzone. Now, no, I got to table that game. We're going to have to come back to that game. Pittsburgh or Philly?
I hate to do this. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with the Philly Eagles. Something tells me to pick the Steelers here, but with no George Pickens, I don't think there's enough, and I'm going to go with the Eagles. Dave
must have somebody on his fantasy team on the Steelers because he picked the Steelers. I got Philly with you, man. I think they look better right now. It's just something says that. A team that's going to go for the number 1 pick versus a team that potentially might just win their division by sheer luck. You got the New England Patriots versus the Arizona Cardinals. I got the Cardinals in this one. I don't know how New England even survives one game for the remainder of the season. And Dave basically said the same thing. He's got the Cardinals.
I'm taking the Cardinals as well.
All right. Now, Tampa Bay on the road in LA against the Chargers. Dude, the Chargers are putting up some seriously good stats in games, but it's something with the Chiefs. I don't know what it is.
You know, David's a terrible Bucks fan. He picked the Chargers.
He picked the Chargers.
What the heck, man? You roll ride or die, man. I'm riding with the Fins against the Texans. And he picked the Chargers? Come on.
No, I went with the Bucks. He went with the Chargers.
He did. What a I'm going with the Chargers.
I'll probably use that pick.
He's a diehard Bucks fan. You stick with your team. Your team needs this win. They need every ounce of energy, positive, to get Baker going. For this is a big win for them.
And there's actually, that defense is freaking good. The Chargers defense is really underrated.
Yeah.
So you got Green Bay at Seattle. I think that it might be a trap game for Green Bay. The Green Bay Packers have been playing very good ball. And I'm with Dave here, though. The Green Bay Packers are probably going to win this one. 12th man's probably not as strong. The offense is not very holistic for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm going with the Packers.
All right. Going back to a game we talked about, Bills versus Detroit. My heart really hurts here. I really want to go with the Bills, but also it's Dan Campbell and the Red Hot Lions right now playing at home. Dave has the Bills. Who do you have?
If David has the Bills, he just made this pick for me. I'm going Lions now. But man, I'm gonna. Damn it! You know what? I'm going what I know. I'm actually gonna take the Bills on the road here, and I'm just gonna go. I'm going with the Bills on the road.
So, I looked at some stats earlier. The Bills are 4-3 on away games, and the Lions are 6-1. And the only team that the Detroit Lions lost to were the Bucks. Let's go Bills. I'm going to change my pick. I had Detroit. I was looking into this. I was like, every analyst is leaning towards the Detroit Lions. I got to go with the Bills. Something says Josh Allen's going to have some weird career game for the 3rd week in a row, and we're going to win. And upset the other number 1 seed. Yeah. All right. Going into a divisional matchup, we have this weird double-header Monday night game again. Ugh. Chicago at Minnesota. Does Chicago play a whole game? Is that a thing anymore?
No, I think the Vikings. Crazy that the Vikings are going to be 12-2. Crazy.
Again, dead wrong in the predictions.
Jesus, 12-2 after this game is.
But they're rebuilding. I can't say I'm straight faced. I can't.
12-2. That's insane. Kevin O'Donnell, just give that guy Coach of the Year. Don't even. Jesus.
Yeah, Dave and I also have the Vikings, man. I just don't have faith in the Bears anymore. And then to leave us on a weird note, we have the tanking Falcons right now at the Las Vegas tanking Raiders. I don't know. This is like the Dirty Bird versus the Dirty Pirate. I don't know what's going on with the NFL script writing, but this can't get any weirder. Hotlanta in Vegas is that's just gross. But both Dave and I have the Raiders. I think they somehow squeak it out because Kirk Cousins is going to throw another 2 interceptions or 3.
I think we might see a Penix Jr. sighting in LA. I'm going to go with the Dirty Birds. I have no faith in the Raiders. I think they're a terrible team. Good luck getting the number one pick in the draft. And hopefully you'll trade with Jacksonville or somebody and get you an extra pick. If not, you're going to get Shador Sanders or Cam Ward or somebody. But yeah, I'm going with the Falcons.
This is almost like a redemption game for the draft. So if the Raiders win, they would have proved the point that drafting Penix wouldn't have mattered, right? But if Atlanta starts or plays Penix at all and they win, it's you should have drafted this guy.
Yeah.
You're an idiot for the draft.
Yeah.
But they also got Brock Bowers, and Brock Bowers is like the second best tight end in the league right now.
He is, but I would have definitely I would have taken a quarterback. This quarterback draft class has proven to be pretty good. So, but then they would have drafted Penix, and then Penix would have sucked. So either way,
there's like no O line. I feel bad for Minshew and O'Connell. It's pretty bad.
Yeah,
and the one thing I was right about this season was drafting Brock Bowers as a tight end in fantasy. So there you go.
That guy's
I'll take my 1W.
Be a beast. Yeah, he's going to be. We're going to hear that name quite a bit for the next decade.
Which is crazy because they drafted, was it Meyer the year before? And I'm like, what happened to arguably the best tight end that you guys were analyzing since Travis Kelce or whatever? I don't know. But yeah, those are the picks for the week, for week 15. Let us know what you think in the comments, and the rest of the episode will be coming out on Friday. And, if you want to leave us a comment on how we can improve things for the podcast as well, put it down there. I know some of the people we've talked to, like, yeah, just bring us on. You heard my comments. Leave a reaction. It helps the algorithm as well. But yeah, stay tuned for more things. College again is coming out on Thursdays. We had the playoff bracket for the first time for 12 teams. Moving forward, they're probably going to redo it because everyone's pissed off. And then you got the rest of the season for the NFL, and we got Christmas games. We got like 2 or 3 Christmas games, and I'm all for it. I'm going to watch my kids open presents. I'm going to have coffee, probably a little peppermint schnapps in there too, or spiked eggnog on top of that while watching football, not complaining about any of the dirty or the weird Christmas sweaters and socks that I'm going to get because I didn't put anything on my Christmas list. It's going to be a good time. I don't know about you, Carlos, but
I'm going to miss 2 weeks of football in Dubai when I'm in Dubai. I didn't even think about that. This is terrible. I got to reevaluate some stuff.
YouTube TV, just look it up. Just snag it for like 2 weeks.
I got it. I hope it plays over there. They may block it due to violent graphic content. Who knows? It's Dubai.
Violence, Middle East. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. But okay.
We're safe.
Yeah, they'll block a lot of things, but probably not football because you're spending money over there anyways. But it's been real, y'all. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the alert, follow, everything else. Until next time, Beardzone out.